When Aries was a child, his mother used to light a small candle every evening before sunset. It didn't matter if there was electricity or not, she lit it anyway. When Aries once asked why, she smiled and said, "Because light reminds us that darkness never has the final word." Back then, Aries believed her easily. Childhood makes belief feel natural. Dreams were simple. Hope was effortless. Life felt like an open road. But time has a way of changing everything. Years passed, and Aries grew into a man carrying more weight than he ever imagined. The world had taught him lessons no one warns you about, the kind that don't come with instructions or comfort. He moved to the city with hope stitched into his heart and ambition burning in his chest. He wanted to become someone. He wanted to make his parents proud. He wanted to look in the mirror one day and feel satisfied. Instead, life tested him. The first failure hurt, but he brushed it off. The second made him doubt. The third shook him deeply. Rejections piled up. Dreams cracked. Effort didn't always lead to results. Slowly, silently, something inside him began to fade. Not his strength, but his belief. Every morning, Aries woke up before sunrise, got dressed, and stepped into the noise of the city. Cars honking, people rushing. Everyone looked like they knew where they were going. Only he felt lost. At night, when the city lights flickered outside his window, Aries lay awake staring at the ceiling. His mind replayed every mistake, every almost, every door that closed. The silence was loud, and his thoughts were cruel. You tried. You failed. Maybe this is your limit. The hardest part wasn't the struggle. It was feeling invisible while struggling. One evening, after another exhausting day that ended with disappointment, Aries didn't go straight home. His feet carried him somewhere unfamiliar, as if his soul needed air. He found himself near an old park, nearly forgotten by the city. The park was worn down but peaceful. Broken swings moved gently in the wind. Trees stood tall, silent witnesses to time. Aries sat on a cold bench, shoulders heavy, eyes empty. That's when he noticed the old man. He sat calmly on the other end of the bench, feeding birds with careful hands. There was no rush in his movements, no anger in his face, just patience. After a long silence, the old man spoke, not looking at Aries. "You look like someone who's been carrying a storm alone." Aries swallowed hard. "I tried my best," he said quietly. "But my best wasn't enough." The old man nodded slowly. "Sometimes the best lesson comes after the best effort fails." Aries laughed bitterly. "Then I've learned too much." The old man smiled. "No, you've survived too much." Those words stayed. The old man continued, "Do you know why most people quit just before life changes?" Aries shook his head. "Because growth feels exactly like breaking," the old man said. "And most people run from that feeling." Aries stared at the ground. "What if I'm just tired? Then rest," the old man replied softly. "But don't confuse rest with surrender." That night, Aries walked home slower than usual. His problems were still there. Nothing had magically changed. But something small, almost invisible, had shifted inside him. The next morning he woke up without motivation, no fire, no excitement, only fear and doubt, but he moved anyway. He applied again. He practiced again. He failed again. Some days he wanted to quit so badly it physically hurt. Some nights he cried in silence so no one would hear. But this time he didn't judge himself for feeling weak. He reminded himself that weakness didn't mean the end, it meant he was human. Weeks passed, then months. Slowly the small efforts added up. Confidence returned, not loudly but quietly. He started believing in progress instead of perfection, inconsistency instead of miracles. One day, Aries noticed something strange. He wasn't afraid of failure anymore. Because failure no longer defined him, it refined him. Then came the opportunity, not the one he dreamed of, but the one he earned. It wasn't easy. It wasn't guaranteed. But it was real. Standing under the same city lights that once made him feel small, Aries finally understood his mother's candle. Light doesn't shout. Light doesn't rush. Light simply stays. And in that moment, Aries smiled, not because life became perfect, but because he had learned the truth. You don't need to see the whole path. You only need the courage to take the next step. And as long as you rise one more time, your story is still being written.